In this 15 video series, we are going to learn AutoCAD from the ground up. We'll cover every tool, every setting, and by the end, we'll draw our first few projects together. So let's start. Before we start drawing, let's take a moment to understand what this software actually is and what it does. So basically, AutoCAD is a computer-aided design program. Now it replaces the old drawing board, T-square, and paper with a precise and scalable digital workspace. It is used across industries, various industries. For instance, we can have architects using it for their floor plans, engineers for mechanical parts, electricians for wiring diagrams, and interior designers for their layouts. When you first open AutoCAD, what you see is the start page. At the bottom left, what we have is online resources that we can get help or join a community where things are solved and then people share their ideas on recent updates. On the right, we have the announcements and then your personal information. For now, we haven't gone through any exercise yet, so the recent page is empty. We can see a lot of icons at the top, but each one is grayed out because we cannot use them unless we start a new drawing. Now to draw, we either open from an existing file or we start a new drawing from an existing template. And AutoCAD gives us a lot of options for templates to use, about 13 or 14 of them when you first start using AutoCAD. So let's talk about templates. Now a template is basically a starting file. It stores your layers, your textiles, your dimensions, your title block settings, and then your units. So later on we are going to see how to save a template. Now what it means is that everything that you would have to set every time you open AutoCAD is already saved in a file that you can open, and that is what templates do for us. AutoCAD gives you two default templates. We have the AutoCAD and then the AutoCAD ISO. So the AutoCAD is for inches and feet, that is for imperial units, and then the AutoCAD ISO gives us millimeters and meters, that is metric system. To start a new drawing, we are going to open a template. On the start page, click the arrow next to the new button. For this series, we'll select AutoCAD ISO, that's the metric template with millimeters as the base unit. Once you click it, AutoCAD opens a fresh drawing with all the layers, textiles, and dimension settings preloaded and ready to be used. The AutoCAD interface has a lot of grid lines, icons, panels, all competing for your attention. But let's start from the top, that is the tabs and then the ribbons. At the very top of the screen, we have the tabs and the ribbons. This is where AutoCAD organizes all its tools into logical groups. So the tabs across the top, that is the home, insert, annotate, and others, holds specific category of tools. Each one has its own set of tools that it holds that we can use to draw. The home tab is where you spend most of your time. It has your drawing tools, that is the line, circle, rectangle, and then your modifying tools such as the move, copy, trim, and then erase. If you look closely at each tab, you notice vertical lines that separate the ribbons into panels, that is groups of related tools. And these tools are put under names which makes them easier to locate. The most important tools are shown at once in a panel. However, we can unravel the panel to view other tools which can be helpful for future works. Now let's go to the right where we can find the view cube. This tool helps you control your view direction. Since we are in a 2D drawing, it is showing the top face, meaning we are looking straight down at our work, just like looking on paper. Now if we are working in 3D, the view cube becomes very powerful, such that we can use the tool to change the different faces of our drawing, such as the top, the side, the front, any direction, and then you can use that to make changes to your drawing. Then under the view cube is a navigation bar. This vertical toolbar gives you one-click access to the most common viewing tools. We have the zoom, the pan, the zoom extents, and other navigation options just to go around our software. Later on, we'll see how to get these features by just using a basic mouse. Now let's look at the drawing area. So it is the large blank space in the center of your screen. This is where you actually create your design. Now unlike a piece of paper, this space is virtually infinite. In AutoCAD, the cursor is called the crosshair. So unlike a standard arrow cursor, AutoCAD uses two intersecting lines. That tells you exactly where you are drawing or where you are clicking. There is a small square at the center of the crosshair, which shows whether there is a command running or not. Now let's talk about the command line. So the command line in basic terms is where you talk to AutoCAD and AutoCAD talks back to you. In AutoCAD, any action that you take is saved automatically in the command line. It also gives you feedback on what you do when you click on any command. As we can see, everything that we've done so far has been saved in the command line, which can be copied for reference. As we have already stated, the AutoCAD drawing area is infinite. We can zoom in as much as possible or zoom out to view very small objects. You can draw a tiny screw or a full city block, and you can zoom in or out and never run out of room. In AutoCAD, we are given three default spaces to work in. We have the model space, the layout 1, and then the layout 2 tab. Now each space has its own function. For instance, the model space is usually for drawing. Layout 1 and then the layout 2 tabs are used to set up a page where we can print. Now let's look at the status bar. The status bar is the horizontal row of icons at the very bottom. Now this contains icons that can be toggled on or off, and these are called the drawing aids. In another video, we'll look at how the drawing aids can help us to achieve certain things easier or faster. So that is basically the interface. We have stated that AutoCAD has an infinite drawing space. The model space is used to draw, the layout space is used to print. Then we also have the tabs and then the ribbons at the top, the status bar toggles that helps us to draw, And then we also saw how AutoCAD can be used for both 2D and 3D drawings. Then we also looked at templates, what they are, and then why we need to save templates or save settings in a particular template.